Welcome in. I am the Crypto Bull God, and this is all in the charts. If you appreciate the content, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, drop me a comment, and click that motherfucking bell icon for all notifications to know when I go live each and every single weekday. Juan, nice to see you in the live stream. Let's fucking go. Guys, it feels nice to be back. Felt like a really long, extended weekend there. I didn't live stream on Monday. Of course, you know, I don't typically live stream on Friday, so it's been a good 4-day break. But we're back at the charts. I actually, if you follow me on X, Crypto Bull God, I had actually laid out an agenda for today. I'm going to reference the agenda because I don't have it in front of me besides the post that I put out there. We have a lot of things to get through. I'm not going to constrain myself to 30 minutes. If we can finish in 30 minutes, that's awesome. But there are a lot of charts that I want to take a look at. And so I don't want to rush through this process. I want to really clearly explain to you a lot of key things that you should be considering in terms of where the market's at. Now, before I start delving into the market, something I did want to share with you. I'm having a fantastic day today. It was a couple months ago. I didn't go into detail, but I came out here pretty salty. And the reason that I was so salty was because I had an aggressive driver rear-end my car. Now, for those who follow me on the Instagrams, you know I have a 2001 Acura Integra, and I've kept that thing in pristine condition. So when that guy rear-ended me, it took everything inside of me not to beat the living shit out of him when I got out of the car. I had to really compose myself because I went off on him. Anyway, moving ahead. Got the car fixed, just got it back today. Actually took the liberty of getting some work done to the car that I had been wanting to get done. I had the whole thing repainted. I got a, what's it called? It's a coating over top of the paint that protects it. Now, acrylic. I think it's acrylic finish on there that's supposed to last for many years because at the moment I'm garaging my car. So, car looks phenomenal. It looks brand new. It looks incredible. So, I am extremely happy. I missed driving my car. I've been without it for a couple weeks. It was at the body shop for a couple weeks. So, very, very, very happy to have it back. Welcome in the real SR. So, let's get into the charts. I'm in a fantastic mood. You should be in a fantastic mood. The markets are beginning to pick up here. So, as I always do on this channel, let's have an honest, real discussion about the current price action that we're looking at and what we need to watch for. Now, first off, if you haven't joined me recently or within the past couple weeks, I guess this will be new, but guys, I've been very consistent in what I've stated. Typically, on a chart, it's not as colorful as this. Okay, typically it's not as colorful as this. Typically, there's horizontal lines, red for resistance, green for support. As we started to chug along here, I threw a few extra colors on here, not to make everyone nauseous. First off, the blue lines are symbolizing the higher lows coming in. I want everyone to clearly see, no matter what volatility we're seeing in the market, we are clearly getting these bounces of higher lows, which is great, okay? And we saw our first higher high come in quite some time relative to here. So the key area that I've talked about is getting above and staying above as confirmation on a daily closing basis. This is the 12-hour chart, $68,000. And so that is why there is an orange line here. This is the zone I want to get up in. Now, if you've really been paying attention to what I've been saying, and you've actually participated in some of the spaces that I've been in on X, I've been very consistent in saying, hey guys, we might not get anything too monumental in the month of October. Might get a little bit. September exceeded my expectations. October might go a little sideways. I think one of the best things we could see out of the month of October is either pressing right up against this line, 68, or ideally getting up into this area. Because what that sets us up for in November is a monumental rise to the upside. I've told you, I am of the firm belief that once we definitively recapture Not 70. I know $70,000 is a psychological level, and we'll talk why it's also important as well. I believe $68,000 is the key level that once we reclaim it, here this was a fake out. You can see we got above it temporarily and closed right below it. We didn't have that confirmation candlestick. Once we get that confirmation candlestick, I think things are going to begin flying in Bitcoin. I really do. And again, there's a lot of things that I will routinely repeat on this channel because I want it to get ingrained in your head. One of the things that I routinely repeat in this on this channel is the fact that the market does not wait for anyone. It's not going to tap you on the shoulder, and it's not going to tell you when it wants to move. It's your responsibility to evaluate the charts, and I'm here to help you do that, to determine when it's smart to buy, when it's smart to sell, right? But when this market moves, again, think of, I don't know who the hell said it first in the community, but it has stuck with me. Think of a Pareto distribution. It's taking me back to basic statistics classes in college, preparing for my actuarial science degree. A Pareto distribution is an 80-20 distribution, and the way that you can essentially think of it is 80% of the gains that you're going to make within this market occur within 20% of the time that you're invested in the market. What does that mean if you're looking at a pie chart? I'm a visual person. If you're looking at a pie chart, okay, 80% of the pie, if we're using the pie chart as a time approximation, that 80% of the time, you might be making some gains in the market, but they're not super substantial. That little chunk, that little pizza slice that you want to take a bite out of, that 20% of time, that's where 80% of your gains are made, right? So when this market, take it from somebody who's been here for a few years, when this market decides it ultimately wants to go, it will go. So clearly, I've been buying in for a while now, and I'm pretty well set up and feel confident in terms of my positions and what I hope. But we need to get above 68,000. What's great to see on the 12-hour chart, guys, we got the 50 crossing above the 200, and we're well above both moving averages right now, okay? Now, one of the things that's been thrown out there, and I haven't been as active on X to see all the commentary, that Credible Crypto has, usually I don't reply to people by name, but I've been Twitter buddies with Credible Crypto for quite some time. So great technical analyst. He shows proof of being an extremely proficient trader. Dude must be super wealthy. Does quite well for himself. And there's something I agree or disagree with, and I both agree and disagree with, and I want to make sure that I clearly spell this out for you. And the first thing I would agree with that he has stated, and it's consistent with what I've shared on this channel. Look, guys, we are in a clear downtrend. I'm telling you $68,000, but we really can't, and actually that coincides with 68, we really can't start to get confident until this descending resistance breaks. Yes. This is a higher high in relation to here. But what have I said? The next target is here, right? Until we start pushing up to $68,000, $70,000, this is just another low high macro. Nothing has changed. And I agree with him. It's just basic technical analysis. Look, we got all these lower highs coming in, guys. We haven't done anything monumental on the chart yet. I 100% completely agree with him. I've been saying the same thing. Okay, I agree there. Now, where I disagree, let me say two things here. Specifically, I guess he has a short open on WIF, and we'll take a look at WIF in a little bit. We're going to take a look at some meme coins. Completely disagree with him that WIF is going to be seeing sub $1 before seeing all-time highs. Now, what I will say, having been here for a while, the market throws you curveballs, okay? I have actually been spending time thinking about what am I going to get wrong? Because in generalities, I am hopeful that my education pays off and things sort of go in generalities to what I'm expecting, but I'm totally expecting curveballs. So is it outside the realm of possibility that WIF could go sub $1 before shooting up to $10 plus? No, it's not outside the realm of possibilities. It's totally possible. I just don't think it's going to happen. We can take a look at the chart and where I disagree with CBC. CBG disagrees with CBC. But disagreement is very healthy and good for the space. Let's take a look at the other chart that I wanted to look here. Let me make sure I'm staying on track. We touched on this. Let's get to the 2-week chart. So the 2-week chart, now there's one main moving average that we've taken a look at recently here, which is this 21 exponential moving average. We're well above the 21 exponential moving average. That's the blue line here. Typically now there are sometimes some head fakes, right? We dipped below it here, but typically when the EMA, when the 21 EMA on the 2-week chart is churning up, you don't want to get a candle body close below it. We don't care about price wicks, but you don't want to get a candle body close below it. So very, very healthy to see price action is maintaining price area above the 58,000, roughly 400 mark, which is where this blue line is at. But let's take a look at something very, very, what was it, Dan Klein? I don't know, some guy I used to work with at Aetna, in the MEU department, medical economics. Yes, I used to work for Aetna back in the day. Very, very nice. Very, very good. We're getting a stochastic RSI cross back above 20. Now, what I want to do with you, I didn't do this ahead of the live stream. We're actually going to go back in time because the argument that I've made is that there are more head fakes when we take a look at a weekly chart, and we're taking a look at the stochastic RSI for positive confirmation to get back above 20. So the scenario we're in is the stochastic RSI has gone below 20, and now we're waiting for a break to get back above 20. That's our trigger line. And typically, what we do see are monumental moves in the price, which we're going to speak to here. Now, on the weekly, sometimes you get some head fakes, but it's a lot less common on the 2-week. Why does that make sense? I guess 2 questions I would ask you, okay? First off, why is the stochastic RSI so important? Well, it's an indication of momentum. It's an indication of strength or weakness within the chart, right? And to the extent, just like any other data that we can evaluate, to the extent that there's a clear trend and a probability associated with an indicator like this, it benefits us to understand what is most and least likely. That's all we're doing. The other thing that I wanted to highlight, I don't know, because I completely lost my train of thought. Maybe I'll think of it as we're going along. There were 2 things that I wanted to speak to, but hell if I know. So this is what happens when you get old. Okay, let's take a look at every single time the stochastic RSI was below 20 and crossed back above 20. Okay, so we are going to indicate it, and then I'll tell you how we're going to further refine this. And then we're going to clone this. Again, all we're doing is we're taking a look at the chart, and we're saying, when did we go below 20? I have that pretty easily defined here. In fact, we can zoom in here. It's the gray line, okay? When have we gone below the gray line and then gotten above the gray line? And then what we're going to do is we're going to evaluate the price action, and we're literally just taking a historical context, and we're asking the question, how many times was it a head fake or not? Now, I'm not going to go past 2015 because this price action is too early. This is, now I remember the point I was going to make. There's not a lot of price data on Bitcoin, so I don't want to get those really early years where there's too much volatility. The other thing I was going to add is I'm sort of highlighting these spots that I just spoke to. Guys, let me ask you a question. Let me see if you can answer this question before I answer it for you. Why on a 1-week chart would there be more fake outs on a positive bullish confirmation on the stochastic RSI versus a 2-week chart? Why would that be the case? And I know there's a delay on the comments. I'll see if anybody wants to chime in, and I will tell you the correct answer in a moment if I don't see it in the comments. But feel free to drop a comment, and you tell me the reasoning for that. Pretty straightforward. Don't overcomplicate it, as I usually say on this channel. It's not rocket science, although that expression is very interesting because I've heard that actuarial science is actually a lot more involved than rocket science, and rocket science is actually pretty straightforward, but it's an expression that's quite often used. HSB, you're essentially correct in more or less words, less data, right? So what HSB is more than likely indicating by his comment, and nice work there, my friend, is that when you're looking at a weekly chart, what are you actually evaluating? You're evaluating candlesticks with each candlestick representing 7 days of price action. I'm not sure if you're aware, but there are 7 days in a week. So there are 7 days within each candlestick. When you evaluate a 2-week chart, every candlestick now is 14 days. Now, some of this is a byproduct of how much time has elapsed to make a higher time frame, like a 2-week, more credible than a 1-week chart, but that is what HSB is getting at. The sample size is larger, okay? There's more data packed into each candlestick, so what that data is telling us presents a more credible view. We can believe it more than something on a lower time frame like a daily chart or 3-day chart or weekly chart, okay? And again, some of it is contingent on how much data is present. If we had 1 year of price data on a chart and we evaluated a 2-week chart, I would actually argue that it's more valuable to take a look at like a 3-day chart just because there's such less data. But in generalities, I hope that explanation made sense. Okay, so we've taken a look at these positive bullish confirmations on the stochastic RSI. What we're going to do is we're going to leave the bullish ones blue, and we're going to turn the head fakes, the ones that didn't pan out, we're going to make them red. Okay, so let's go back in time. Since 2015, we're essentially looking at 10 years of data. All right, here we got a bullish confirmation up, and you can see price rode along here and just continued churning up. Here we got a cross, and we obviously were an uptrend. None of these were fake outs. So the first two that we've identified here, I'm sure you would agree with me, the positive confirmation, and note, the bullish confirmation on the stochastic RSI doesn't automatically, that was a horrible snap, doesn't automatically result in some pop in price, but what it's telling you is momentum, strength within the chart. Strength in the chart is beginning to develop, and as a result, we can expect continued upside. That is what it's telling us, okay? Let's go down here. Wow, our next cross wasn't until 2019. Okay. Whoops. Whoopsie. You can see here, we had a cross right here when I remember this time very well, guys. This is when CBG was first in the market. I wasn't even CBG then. This is February, technically, was when I first put my dollars in. Right in this area. Where are we at? Right in this area is where I put my first dollars into crypto. And boy, have I learned a lot. Let me tell you. And I'm still learning, and I will continue to do so. But I know a hell of a lot more than I did then. Okay, so we got this positive confirmation of the stochastic RSI. Was it a head fake, or did we see bullish confirmation? We went from 3,100 all the way up to 14. I would argue that was not a head fake. So we're going to leave that one blue. Let's go to the next positive confirmation. Now this one was right around the beer virus crash. So you can see here what happened. We got the positive confirmation. We got a little upside. It was a head fake. We came down, we had a massive correction. We crossed back below the 20. But this one, technically, this is another confirmation right here. So we did get a little bit of a head fake here. So now it was short and fleeting, but it doesn't matter. It was a head fake. So this was a head fake. We're going to make this red. Okay? So far, we only have one head fake. Let's continue going. Here we got a bullish confirmation. Right here, and we rode up from 50 to 70. It was bullish you can't say it was a head fake because we did go up in value. It was lackluster price performance, but you can't call this a head fake. It was still a movement up in price. What was it? I don't know. I kind of feel neutral on this one, to be honest. This was, oh no, okay. Well, never mind. I feel bullish on that. That's a 43% move up. So we're going to keep that. I was going to put that as a neutral color, but that's bullish confirmation. Okay. So bullish confirmation there. And then the next time we got a cross, we did get a cross here. and we kind of went sideways. I'm just going to count this all as one cross. I don't want to muddy up this chart too much. This is all sort of one cross that panned out. And I think you would agree, even though it took a little bit of time here, we kind of rode this thing out in the $19,000 to $16,000 range. We then began our massive trend up. You can see we sort of dipped below here temporarily at 16.6. On the stochastic RSI, we got another positive cross and rode this thing all the way up to $74,000. Now we're getting another cross. So in summation, we just looked at this together, okay? How many data points do we have in the past 10 years? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are 9 total data points. We're in the 9th one. We've had 8, let me put it to you this way. This one's fresh and new, okay? So we're not going to count that. We've had 8 prior data points. 1 was a head fake. 1 out of 8, I don't want to use the calculator. 1 out of 8 is a, what? Oh, God, what is that? That's a 90, I don't know what that is. Now we got to look. 88, yeah. So what the data is telling us, it's not my hope, it's not my desire. Well, it is my hope and desire, but what the data is telling us, what the objective empirical data, as I always say, is telling us is there's an 88% probability that even if this takes a few more weeks to situate itself, we should expect a large run to the upside in the coming months, okay? An 88% probability. There's a 12% probability this could be some sort of a head fake. We'll move down in price and we'll have to reevaluate things, right? There aren't many things in life, okay, in general, that you could get an 88% hit rate on, right? Think about if you were betting on a sports game and the odds were 88% in your favor. Usually that's not the case, okay? And while there's no one indicator that we can use to come away with certainty, I want to make sure that everyone understands that. What we do on this channel is we evaluate all sorts of different data, right? We keep it stupid simple. We evaluate different data sources, different charts, and we try to form a conclusion based on that. And where there's confluence, where things sort of line up, even better. But none of these things is a sure hit. None of these things are a certainty. So while this one indicator is telling us with 88% probability that we're going to see continued upside in the coming months, it's certainly not a certainty. This thing could throw us a curveball, and it could do the 12%. Okay, so I want to make that clear. But this is very bullish. Now, this has not closed. Right now, you can see we're up at 24.2. This candlestick closes this coming Sunday, right? And I will have to consider, especially just as a heads up, I'm going to be doing some traveling in the coming weeks where not happy about it, to be honest with you. I'll have my laptop with me. I got a live stream from my laptop. I hate live streaming from my laptop. The quality is not as good. I don't have 2 screens. It sucks, and I apologize in advance. I've thought about doing some spaces instead of being on YouTube. I'll have to see what works best, but I hate live streaming from my laptop. So that'll be coming up. So I'll have to think about if I want to do a live stream on Sunday. We'll kind of see where price action is at, and I'll evaluate at that point. But 2 week is looking great, guys. The other thing that I wanted to bring to your attention, okay? Now, it's not instantaneous. We know this. What is one of the most, and we're going to take a look at this on WIF. What are one of the most common bullish things that occurs on a breakout, right? One of the most common things when we're seeing a breakout of descending resistance, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but I'm just speaking to what we've spoken about in the past. We break out of descending resistance, right? Then we come back and back test this as support and then continue moving up. So I would not be shocked, unlike the Shockmaster, shout out to WCW, old school wrestling. I would not be shocked to see that happen. I also wouldn't be shocked to see, depending how the month closes out, it's just straight up going into the end of the year. keep in mind, this is a monthly view. The candlestick has not printed yet. We need the candlestick to print, okay? So this looks great right now. If this prints like this, we've broken market structure here in a bullish way. We've gotten back above descending resistance here. We've been, again, you know, I spent some time a week ago on this channel talking about my observations of the market and how it benefits you as an investor to understand it. We talked about social tokens or meme coins and why it's important to have those tokens in your portfolio. And one of the things I shared with you is if you consider the demographic makeup of who's currently in this market, a lot of young, impatient investors, okay, who want to be millionaires overnight and not work, all right? So they can't even stomach a few months of consolidation. That's all that's been taking place here. A chart that I hadn't, let's take a look at the price indicators. Price indicators, RSI is getting very, very close to breaking above the 70 line, which would be good to see. You know, one chart that I haven't looked at in a little bit, and I wasn't going to originally share, but now I think it does make sense. Let's take a look at the 2-month. Now, the 2-month, again, is just candlesticks comprised of 2 months of price action. There's a lot of data in each candlestick. The 2-month chart, if you think about how it works, you're going to have a September and October candlestick. So we're having a 2-month candlestick close this month. And then we'll get the, whoa, ICP. Why are people bullish on this chart? I don't understand. Bitstamp? Okay. Well, let's look at the 2-month here. Now, this is set to close in October. Stochastic RSI looks good. RSI, again, same thing on, oh no, this is the monthly. Okay, I was going to say, we're getting the same RSI reading. Okay, RSI, I have this orange line here at 70 to denote a break above there is very bullish. Stochastic RSI looks great. Look at this. Now, one major observation I would have about this candlestick, not only are we getting back above this area that I denoted as price confluence on the 2-month chart at 61,300, but if we can manage to hold relatively where we're at by the end of the month, and a lot can happen. We got 16 days more in the month, all right? What is this candlestick? What do you notice about the candlestick? Well, I'll tell you what I notice. This body here, this green body, this green, sexy, beautiful body right here, it is overshadowing and engulfing this disgusting looking putrid red body candle here. And so that is if it prints like this, that would be a green, it would be a bullish engulfing candle, right? And bullish engulfing candles typically lend themselves to trend reversals back to the upside, right? It's a bullish sign, right? When you have the body of the green here that encompasses the entire red to your left, the prior candlestick, that's very bullish. So we'll keep an eye on that. October 31st, when is that? Oh, I would like the live stream for that close, but I don't know that that's going to happen. Okay, let me see what else. Concerns for Caspa. All right, let's have a conversation about Caspa. A lot of the mid caps are red today. Oh, H-bar's up. Seems like it's been at 5 cents forever, but it's up. Let's just take a look at price action. Now, one of the things that, this is a 2-week chart. One of the things, I think I was looking at this on a weekly, though. Why do I have this on a 2-week? Yeah, I meant to look at this on a, okay. One of the things that I denote on this chart, we're gonna talk about immediate price action and longer-term price action here. Is that anytime you're under the blue line, which is the 10 simple moving average on the weekly, I don't need to spell it out for you. You can see it here. Anytime we're below there, it ends up being an awesome buying opportunity. The thing you guys have to keep in mind, okay, if you tend to be more of an emotional person when you're investing, you need to figure out how to let go of that, because that emotion, that injection of emotion into your investment decisions will kill your portfolio, right? Or at the very least, it will result in you getting suboptimal returns on your investment portfolio. God, stumbling over my words here. Think about, let me give you an example. Think if when you first got into crypto, let's say you were in 2017, and you were a big Dash guy in Zcash and Stellar Lumens and XRP. If that's all you hold because you have some emotional affiliation to those projects, your portfolio blows, okay? You need to be unemotional to your investment. If something, I always say this to you guys, if something changes in the chart, if something changes that goes against your investment thesis in terms of why you've invested from a TA perspective, you shouldn't be bailing on anything. Now, if something fundamentally changes, right? I know I've pointed out Casper for a long time on this channel. It was not a Wyckoff accumulation, okay? Clearly, as soon as that thing broke market structure, I said, what did I say? We all know, right? And the thing's down at a penny, and it's going to continue to underperform, okay? It just is until the chart turns around. Well, there, the structure of the chart changed. And if you were emotionally locked into your investment, you've ridden that thing all the way down. If you were smart, you would have cut at least some of your losses, okay? This chart, the question we have to ask ourselves on Casper, let me put aside my fundamental, you could call it bias, right? I've dubbed Casper the crypto trilemma hero. I truly believe that the technology solves the trilemma issue within crypto, right? And that will be realized over time. That's my own opinion. However, let me put the fundamentals aside and talk about price action. There is no debating whatsoever that we have in recent many weeks now, a couple months, we've had a lot of weakness in this project. We were up here at the end of July. We hit a high of 21 cents, okay? Since hitting 21 cents back at the end of July, how much have we corrected, guys, right? We've come all the way down. We've come 39% down. So really, in the grand scheme of crypto, that's not a lot. But there is no debating that this asset, relative to some assets, not all assets, but some assets within the relative market cap ranking, has performed worse. That's why it's dropped in market cap ranking. It was all the way up at 21. Now I think it's at 28 on CoinMarketCap. Depends if you look on CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap. So no debating that. But the next question we have to ask ourselves is, okay, well, we're not going to get emotional, though. We're not just going to base our view on the immediate past couple months. We have to consider the entire chart. When should we get really concerned about price action? Let's have that discussion right now. So the first observation I'd like to make, looking at this chart, and again, I've done no prep coming into this conversation. The first point I'd like to make, we have higher lows coming in. In fact, this here is a double bottom. I would not be surprised to see that this is essentially the same price here. Wow. Yes. So let me, I'm going to draw that right there. That's an I mean, you could draw a zone here. I'll draw a little zone. This is a nice area of support. Look where we bounced. This low here was at 12.5 cents. The low here was at 12.7 cents. Okay, so basically a double bottom. When I would start to get concerned is if this area breaks. If we start, now I'm not talking a price wick. Remember, I'm talking about candle bodies. On a weekly chart, if you begin to see candle bodies close below this 12.5 cent area, okay, now I'm a little bit concerned because you're opening up the door to going all the way down to 11 cents. And then you're opening, because there's a range, these are volatile assets, you're opening up the door all the way down to 10 cents. I believe the absolute worst case scenario, given where the market is at right now, for Caspa, considering, because that's the other thing you have to consider is you need to consider from a macro perspective, where are we at within the cycle, right? Well, clearly, I'm in the camp, I've been telling you, that this quarter going into 2025, there are going to be some explosive fireworks. This is my worst case scenario. Now, if we break 10 cents, we really would need to evaluate the chart. I would be very concerned if it broke 10 cents. Do I expect it? No, but we have to be open to the possibility. This is the lowest range that I see it going. Now, do I think that 12.5 cents will hold? Yes. However, do I think it's possible Caspa could wick all the way down here towards this 10 to 11 cent area? Absolutely. I'm still fine with that. It expresses a higher degree of weakness, but I'm still fine with it. It's just breaking below 10 cents would not be good. Because if you start breaking below 10 cents, why am I saying that's not good? How did I come up with that? First off, 10 cents is a psychological area. And secondly, look at this big run that I remember quite well when we ran up from 4 cents all the way up to 16 cents, okay? The good old days, right? If we broke below 10 cents, there's not, I always talk about tree branches, price confluence. This parabola resulted in no price confluence. So you're talking about price targets that could go all the way down to 5 cents. So we don't want to have a conversation about that. Let's hold off on the 5 cent conversation because I don't see it happening. I don't see 11 to 10 cents happening. But it's very, very important to keep context, guys. Very, very important to keep context. We still have a general upsloping line here, right? A general upsloping line. You can draw this a couple different ways, okay? I understand that this asset has been non-exciting since 16 cents all the way from almost a year ago. The other way to look at this, though, the other way I believe you should look at it, is that we've been consolidating within a very tight range here where a lot of other assets, if you evaluate them, they have had some hard corrections. And the last thing, there's a couple relativities we could look at, but the last thing I would like you to consider when you're evaluating the relative strength or weakness within Caspa is this chart here. Again, I understand we've been consolidating in here for a while, but when you zoom out here, I just see higher highs and higher lows. This is a relativity chart as compared to Bitcoin. How well is Casper performing relative to Bitcoin? The majority of the tokens you're going to find out there, they do not look like this. You're going to find a lot of meme coins out there that are paired very well against Bitcoin. That's where all the attention is right now, and it looks like it's going to be the hottest sector going into 2025. But the majority of assets don't look like this. Just because we've been consolidating now, lower highs, lower lows, totally no argument from me there, but we've been consolidating in a nice tight range. Again, this is different than doing this, okay? This is a lot different. That would be very concerning, right? So I believe the name of the game is patience, and I don't think anything is fundamentally changing in this chart unless we break below 10 cents. We can go all the way down here, even though I'm not expecting it, and we're still okay. We start breaking 10 cents, reason for concern. Reason for concern, okay? So until then, it's just been some lackluster recent performance. This has been one of the best performing assets in the space. I have no reason to believe that it won't continue being one of the best performing assets in 2025. Let's take a look at, we're definitely going over time today, checking out what time it is. Let's take a look at BTC dominance. Who do I have in the live stream, by the way? I haven't really looked. I don't think this is the right chart. It is. Nothing new on the Bitcoin dominance. We're at the apex of this rising wedge here. Nothing has changed. We're pressed right up against 58. You know, I had given the opinion we'd top out at 58, might get a wick up towards 60. It looks like we could get a spike up towards 60. Again, all we can do is play the charts here. And we spent quite a bit of time recently talking about the behavior on the Bitcoin dominance chart relative to when the market tops out. And there's nothing in the history of this chart that suggests we're at a cyclical top when Bitcoin dominance is doing this. It's not until Bitcoin dominance starts doing that, we looked at that last week, then you start to see the market topping. Let's see who we have in the live stream. John, you are correct. I don't know what I said earlier, but it was ceramic coating. Correct. Got it on the car and the wheels. If you do follow me on Instagram, it's the same name as it is on X here, Crypto Bull God. You'll see I posted some photos today. The lighting wasn't the best. It's kind of hard I should have taken better photos. I was kind of in a race to get back here to work, but the car looks amazing. Something is not okay with cash, bro. Credible. Oh, we just covered cash, so hopefully, I mean, I just shared my thoughts with you. Hopefully some of that resonated with you and jived. Yeah, I haven't been keeping the latest on Credible's thoughts. I kind of shared my, earlier thoughts in terms of where I agree or disagree with sort of his thought process. Is $48,000 possible? Yes. Do I see $48,000 happening? No, I don't see that happening. Unless if there's some black swan event that comes in that results which no one can predict. I don't see that happening. The other thing I want to throw out to you, as soon as you say $48,000, I want to warn you guys that if that did happen, we're not talking about some sort of simple correction. We've spent quite a bit of time looking at the Gaussian channel on the weekly. You can see that if Bitcoin's price, and we're not talking about a wick. Now, a wick would be different. If we went down to $48,000, you're talking about intercepting approximately the midline of the Gaussian channel, which you never want to see. A wick is one thing. You don't want to fuck around with this. We've spoken a lot about it. You get a candle body close anywhere under here at this point, history tells you you're in for a pretty rough correction. So if what you're saying is accurate, because I don't know that that's what he said. I don't want to put words in his mouth. I'm going based off what you said. But let's just put it to you this way. If $48,000 did happen, that would be very bad for the market. Very bad. You think Bitcoin would be going down a lot? Your altcoins would be correcting massive amounts, okay? You're talking about... you're talking about a 27% correction. You could easily get 50% corrections in alts. You could see your memes correcting harder than 50%. You could get we were just talking about Caspa. You could get some massive wick on Caspa coming all the way, faking people out like it's going to go to 5 cents and then coming right back up. Look, anything's possible. There isn't anything that I'm looking at that I share with you what I'm evaluating, right? And I don't see anything that says we're going to $48,000. But to each their own. We shall see. Lucky Ape Chartist is shorting 42. I don't know. I'm taking your guys' word for this, that these people are giving these targets. It's almost... It just feels like disbelief to me that people just aren't believing that we're going to break out here. Everything that we've been evaluating and talking about, we're breaking out of a bull pennant. We got the 2-week stochastic RSI that we just spoke about. We've spent a lot of time talking about other charts and cyclical views in terms of global liquidity cycle and how the markets should behave based on that. You got your M2 money supply increasing. You got interest rates coming down. History tells us in relative fashion what we can expect. There are way too many signs pointing to this market going up versus down, but we shall see. Rory, I appreciate your comment there, my friend. I agree. There's probably some truth to what you're saying, Brad Pitt, but... Brad Pitt, that's pretty funny. There's probably some truth to what you're saying, but I try to simplify my life and not get too much into the weeds. Credible Crypto is a great example. The guy's obviously a really smart guy. His analysis tends to go a little bit more granular than mine. I just really try to keep things stupid simple. I don't get into all the wave counts, and I'm not a master Elliott wave technician, so I wouldn't even be in a place to do that. I'm not in that wheelhouse. He gets into really intricate wave counts, and I don't get that granular. Matthew, welcome into the live stream, my friend. Today, normally I appreciate you asking. We're not going to have time today. Typically Tuesdays and Thursdays, it's live TA Q&A, but I didn't live stream yesterday, so I was just planning on making this a really long live stream to cover several different charts. So I'm not going to have time for that today, but on Thursday, if you want to come back, or if I remember you saying that, we can take a look at that. Let's take a look at the Dixie real quick, and then I want to talk about meme coins. Yeah, let me just stay on the Dixie. Yeah, nothing going on here, guys. Nothing has changed. All the commentary I've said in the past about the Dixie, nothing has changed. Again, I'll just reiterate, it's not surprising to see a bounce off a psychological level of 100 and the 200 SMA on the weekly. We still got a lower high here. We got lower lows coming in. Nothing has changed in this chart. I completely expect this thing to roll over. So nothing new. Now let's get into some meme coins. It's funny to me because we'll have a few that we're going to talk about, but it's funny to me because if you actually, I don't know how long some of you guys have been here, but I used to do a podcast with my brother like once, I don't know, it was pretty infrequently. It was called Crypto Bros. It has the best intro ever that I created. And one of the things, I was thinking about this kind of coming onto the stream. On one of those earlier streams, this was back in 2021, my brother had a question for me. You know, he would send me the script kind of ahead of time of questions he wanted to go over. You know, I know one of the podcasts focused on meme coins, and we were talking about Shiba Inu. And what do you think about it? I know at that time I was like, man, I don't want to fuck around with that. Like I stick with, I got my H-bar, I got my Harmony 1, I got my Matic, I got whatever other tokens, Mana, of course, Bitcoin, XRP, whatever. I got my tokens. Like I'm not fucking around with meme coins. And it's funny how much your thought process evolves over time. Because again, I've been pounding the table for months. And if you're not familiar, pretty sure I shared a link on X, again, if you're following me at Crypto Bull God, on a really good YouTube video, and I listened to another one, Murid Muhammad. He was basically, in my opinion, and I listened to the one that he gave at Token 2049, or whatever the hell it was in Singapore. I listened to it like twice. Because sometimes I do that for certain videos. I'll listen to them at normal speed or slower speed, and then I'll listen to them at a faster speed just to really digest everything. That's pretty common for me personally. And I think the way he articulated himself, the way I would look at it is it's almost like making the business case, but making the investment case for meme coins and why meme coins within this sector are going to continue to be an outpacing asset class. And I think, the way he laid it out was, whether or not it plays out that way, it was very surgical. It was very matter of fact. It was very philosophical in some ways. But it really lended credence to earlier thoughts I've shared with you guys that you can't argue with charts. Let me give you an example. Guys, I think this is the only token in my portfolio that was up today. It was up more than that, but this is Wojak. Everybody knows the meme Wojak, right? It's a fucking meme. That's what it is. But this chart, this is just the Wojak USD chart. This is a beautiful chart. You could give me plenty of world-changing assets out there, okay? Start naming them in the comments. And I can assure you that most of them do not have charts that look as good as this. Whether it continues or not, who knows? But it's like any other chart. The trend is your friend until the very end, right? Higher highs, higher lows coming in. If we look at Brett here, this is on the USD pairing, is breaking out at the moment. I have 3-day resistance. This candlestick is set to print on Thursday, so we'll have to wait for this to print. But it looks like what we're doing right now, we're breaking out from resistance. We're back testing this probably as support and then continuing to bounce up. Very strong chart. This is when I have a very small play in this. I don't hold a lot of this. But again, we're breaking out of this falling wedge. We're riding this ascending line here. And now it looks like we're breaking a little bit of descendance here, showing descending resistance, showing some strength here, okay? This is Brett Pepe. So this is Brett paired against Pepe. And you can see that we've been in this multi-month consolidation. This is almost a bull pennant, and we're just beginning to break out. This chart is telling me that it's very possible. It's actually more likely that Brett will outpace Pepe. And now this is the Brett whiff chart. So you can see right now we have higher highs, higher lows coming in, but we need to break this descending resistance to allow Brett to outperform whiff. But a lot of these meme coins, guys, the charts on them are, you know, I'm not going to lay out the fundamentals in terms of what tokens to get into and why. We're just going to strictly keep it to the charts here like I always do. But again, and this is where, and I want to reiterate this, again, anything is possible. Credible crypto could turn out to be completely correct. Bitcoin down to 48,000, whiff down to sub $1. I just don't see it. I don't see it. We've had descending resistance here. You can clearly see descending resistance. We've broken out of descending resistance. We back tested it as support. And what have we done? We've created a low, a higher low, a higher low. And I believe we're going to bottom within this range here. We'll have to see. Maybe we come down to 220, 230. And we're just going to create another higher low. And before you know it, we're going to be above $3. I mean, this to me looks like a trend reversal back to the upside. Now, one thing, one word of caution on this chart is something that does stick out like a sore thumb. Right now, we do have a double top. So very, very important that we start clearing up towards $3 because you can see this wick right here is approximately where we're at here. So we do have this double top. And who knows, maybe we have a little bit of an inverse head or a little cup and handle pattern going here. We come down here. Maybe we go a little bit lower and then start riding up. But I really don't. I would be very surprised if whiff breaks down back below like $2. I would be very surprised by that. And if that does occur, I believe the reason for that would be because there would be some sort of major breakdown in Bitcoin's price performance. Other meme coins we could take a look at. Let's take a look at Pepe. Does anybody here hold Pepe? I'm curious, for everyone who is tuning in right now, what is your largest meme coin holding if you're willing to share? Or if you don't want to share your largest, I value privacy. I get that. I don't share my largest. Well, I told you Caspa is my largest altcoin position, but I typically don't go into that level of detail. At least share with me just one meme coin that you're holding. So right here, very similar story. It didn't really double top, but we still have a lower high coming in here. Now, it is true on Pepe. This is a weekly. Yes, we've broken descending resistance, and you like to see the back test as support. Where I would get concerned on this chart, and the same thing for Brett, not wicks, but if you start to get candle bodies that start to re-enter below this descending line, and now I'd be a little bit concerned, right? Are we going to double bottom? Or are we going to go lower? I want to hold right above this area here. So I'm fine with price action the way it's setting up right now. Euros, if that counts. I don't know that counts. I don't know that that's a meme, my friend, but I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Do I have a chart for MOG? I do, because I thought I was evaluating it at some point. Again, anytime you pull up a chart, don't overcomplicate your life, right? You can, in my opinion, you can increase your likelihood of success investing by simplifying your life. When you pull up this chart, what is the first thing that you notice? The chart is going up and to the right, okay? It's not going down and to the right. It's going up and to the right. That is what we want to see, okay? There is a general uptrend here. Higher highs, higher lows. I don't need to draw it, okay? Maybe this trend line here will get revisited and we'll come all the way down here. Maybe we're never going to touch that thing for a long time. But for the time being, we're in a massive uptrend on this thing. It's a very strong performing asset. And we're pressed essentially right up against prior all-time highs up here. Okay, so we're close to setting a new all-time high here. There's just so many meme coins that they have strong charts. And I think if you make a decision that you're going to evaluate the market today the same way that you evaluated the market last year or the year before that, you're falling behind. This market moves too quick. The narratives in this market change too quick. Think about the technology. Think about the technology itself and the rate of change, right? Think of, again, the distribution of participants that are involved in this space, the demographic makeup. The narrative is shifting all the time. And meme coins may very likely be here for a long time and be a growing part of the asset class. But even meme coins themselves, the way we look at them and evaluate them, will change over time. Okay? So, again, as strong as a lot of these charts are, I just think you're doing yourself, I can't say this enough, guys. You do what's best for you. I never give you financial advice. You are doing yourself a huge disservice, in my opinion, if you have emotionally hung on to some horrible performing altcoins saying, oh, well, this thing is down 99%, it hasn't performed well, its time's going to come. Guys, if it's been an underperformer, unless something materially changes in the chart, why wouldn't it continue to be an underperformer, right? If you have a really high performer, a really well performer, something that has performed extremely well, even if you're seeing some shorter term downside price action, we've been in a general uptrend. Why would you not expect that to continue? I don't understand the thought process. The chart is going to tell you so much in terms of your future profit potential in assets. Crypto meme triple threat. I think that's all I have. So again, the key price area that I've been communicating with you guys for a while, it hasn't changed. $68,000. We want to see price get above 68. So again, I agree. We still have, this is a higher high relative to here, but we still have the lower highs coming in. And nothing changes. There's no reason to get really excited about price action until we don't wick here, we come up here and we backtest this region as support, and then that is when you should expect some significant fireworks based on some of the other charts as well that we've looked at. So I hope you appreciated the content today. I will be back tomorrow. I fully anticipate it, as well as Thursday, and then I'll consider live streaming for the 2-week on Sunday. We'll kind of see how my schedule looks. So thank you for joining me today. Until next time, let's all spread awareness. Let's carry the education forward. I'm going to go enjoy some pistachio protein ice cream. Cheers, everybody.